Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with some of the crew today.
Dave.
Ryan.
And today this one is a viewer request from Art Wood. Where he games, he's got lots of people who want to play, but not enough DMs.
Too many players, not enough game masters.
So he's stepping up, and he wants to run a workshop on giving players the knowledge to be able to DM, and he wants to know what should he have, what kind of things should he incorporate. So we're going to wrap this all up into a video of how to get players to be a DM.
How do you make them do it? Hold the gun to their head.
Essentially, right. This goes back to the old movie Willow, when he's asked about the magic. Like, because really, you don't actually have to give new players anything to GM. They just need to do it. This has always been the problem with this game and this hobby is you always have people that are willing to show up and play the game, but very few are actually willing to put in the work to make the game happen.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing will kill a group quicker than not having a GM.
It's the ages-old problem that like organized play kind of seeks to address in a little bit. Like they give special incentives and boons to like people that are actually running the game, so it encourages them to be able to do it. And it's the same idea with like having access to pre-published adventures, because so much of the work is actually writing the material and like figuring out the story arc, whereas like the pre-published stuff takes that element out of the equation, and then you just have to focus on the work of running the game for everyone else.
See, I totally disagree. I feel like the only way to run a pre-planned adventure properly is to actually read it first.
Oh yeah, I mean you should read it, but there's a certain ease of use in that. Like,
well, you don't have to be creative or make anything up.
Exactly. You don't have to make any choices or real decisions.
But at that point, by the time I've read through that whole entire module, I could have just wrote one, like and quicker. So I don't think it's a time saver to me. It's an illusion that you're saving time.
I personally have never run a module. I've never run a pre-written adventure, but. How long have I been running games? I mean, we've been, part of this group for more than 2 decades, so well over 15 years have I been a DM. But I can't sit back and think of, how it happened the first time. Do any of you guys recall, how you made the transition from player to DM?
I think it was just like, hey, I think I want to run a game. Like it was
pretty much that's it. Yeah, there's never really, I don't even. Maybe the DM at the time said, hey, any of you guys want to give me a chance to play? I don't know. But, I think the idea of doing a workshop is a really good idea because, now, I don't think this is actually viable for a lot of people, but because Art games at a gaming store, it'll work for him, I think. If you have people show up to your workshop, even if it's one, you have a potential DM.
Right, absolutely.
If they at least show up to the thing.
All right, so what would we say are the key... the key ingredients, if you will, to be a DM.
The desire to do it, really.
Having a firm enough grasp on the rule set that you're willing to, instead of waste game time in session and detract from what's going on, to stop and look in the book, have enough firm enough grasp on the rules that you can make a game call right there on the field, as it were. It's like a referee, NFL referee or whatever, and not really worry about the specific rule until after. You can look it up later and figure it out. Keep the game flow going. I think that's pretty important.
I would agree with that. So the desire to do it, firm enough grasp on the rules. Is there anything?
Well, I see the biggest obstacle too is a lot of people are intimidated by running the game. So. That's one of the things. I mean, I think if you can run the game and convey to your players that you're having such a good time running the game, that's going to go a long way to helping. But if it seems like a chore and a slog, then no one's going to want to sign up for that.
Right. So my view my standpoint on that is, whatever aspect of DMing that you find the most enjoyable, that's what you want to highlight when you're running the game. Some people are very creative. Some people, really go over the top with, with the role playing. Some people do voices. Some are really good at maps and encounters. Whatever it is that you really enjoy, focus on that kind of stuff when you're running, so that the other players, can enjoy that aspect. You know, there's times I do voices, there's times that I don't, there's times that, you know, I improv, there's times that I totally do whatever I have planned. You know, I try to grab from everywhere to highlight the different aspects of what this game enables. You know, but if you're interested in being a DM, don't let anything hold you back. Just say to your group, hey guys, you know, when we get a break in whatever story we're in, you know, can I run a couple sessions, or can I run a little story arc? You know, plan something as a one shot or a 3-session game, and give it a go. And you never know, you might really dig it.
There's lots of people that they might want to GM on occasion, but they might not want to always be the GM. Like, they might only want to run like six sessions or whatever.
Or one.
Yeah, or one. Yeah.
So, but, you know, again, too, like, if especially, you know, you can always do a trial basis where you throw it out there so a player can just test it out and they're not committing to anything. The other thing is, while you're having conversations with people outside of the game, and you know, if they're talking about, you know, the genre, or specifically the game, or things that they'd like to see or do in the game, you know, encourage that. You know, say, wow, that sounds like a great story. You should run that as a game sometime.
You tell them, I want to play in that game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sell them on their own idea,
yeah.
so that maybe they'll run it for you and your group or whatever, and try and encourage them that way and plant the seeds. But other than that, getting people to run, you know, you can't. Again, it comes down to the age-old, you know, one of the things Nerdarchy says over and over again: you can't make anyone do something they don't want to.
Right, they absolutely have to want to do it, and also too, like it seems like the most people that are apt to want to run games are either kind of you know, some sort of amateur writer or game designer in their own right, are the people that seem like the most gung-ho about like wanting to run the game. So I guess you could kind of look for people with that itch in them, you know.
Well, creative types. Yeah, basically, you know, people that are more creative are more apt to do it. Like, I mean, you know, people that are really good role players in your session and like to be in character a lot and have done it for multiple characters, they're good candidates. You know, maybe you can talk to them about, you know, what kind of... I don't think you should just come at somebody if you're trying to encourage them to run the game. I don't think you should just come at them with, hey, you should run the game. I think you got to romance them a little bit.
Take them out to dinner first.
Yeah, you know, figure out what they're enjoying and liking about the game, and then try and talk to them about those aspects from the other side of the screen, and you know, work your way into it. Because again, you know, a lot of people find running the game intimidating.
It is to have. Well, I mean, essentially, it makes you always the center of attention, and a lot of people don't like that. Like, I don't like to have like 6 people looking at me. Like, that's, you know, like,
and if they have a bad night, it's gonna be all your fault.
That's right. It's totally
that's totally not true.
Yeah.
You can actually have a really good game with a bad DM, as long as you have other good players. Like, if there's a lot of stuff going on and the players are going to role play,
it needs to be to a certain level of not terrible. Like, if the person, the GM running the game, come on. There's some people that like there's no redeeming it. Like, you basically want to just have somebody else jump up and start running the game.
I disagree. I think you can create your own fun at the table. We've done it to the DM's detriment when it was lagging behind. Yeah. We still had fun.
At the GM's expense.
But you know, hey, you know, our characters took it up a notch and got even more obnoxious than they already were, because the story wasn't being provided. And, you know, we were younger then and a-holes. But you guys don't have to go that route. You can still provide your own fun without it being at the DM's expense. You can try and interact with the NPCs. You can interact with each other. GM Juice actually did a really good video on this. I mean, like, you can have a stellar game with a mediocre GM if your players are willing to put the work forth. And that's the other thing as a new GM. Remember, it's not all on you. The players are there too. They have a part to play, and it's not your fault if they're sucking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just tell yourself that, new GMs. Yeah. It's not me, it's them.
And you get better with time. Like, from your first session to your 10th session, you'll notice a world of difference in your confidence and your abilities.
Absolutely.
So there's that.
You know, all of us have, you know, more than a decade worth of experience running games, and there's still times that it's like, I didn't prepare this properly, or, you know, my brain's just not thinking as fast.
I forgot about this thing. I had to go and rewrite a whole session because I didn't do something that I like. Wow, I should have did that in the last session. So, you know, you know, nothing's irreversible. You can fix things. You can make it work.
the thing you have to remember is it's a game. You're there to have fun. You're there to socialize, and unless you're going to some random online game or some random game in a gaming store, you're probably gaming with your friends. And yeah, they might razz you about it, but all you have to say is, "Fine, you think you can do better?"
Boom! Next new GM.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and we're being a little harsh, but it really isn't like that. Like, most of the time you're hanging out with your friends and they're just happy to hang out and play the game. And I would think that most people are going to be understanding if you've just started.
Right.
And, and just look for opportunities to improve. Look for opportunities to turn your failures into successes, because really, I had ran a session, meant to do something, totally forgot to do it. And then what did I do? A couple sessions later, I reintroduced that idea as a whole new session all unto itself. So... And you'll grow with the game.
As a general, GM tip, regardless of how long you've been gaming, talk to your players, after the session. Find out what they like. Did you do anything that they really loved, or anything that they hated? You're as a GM, whether you're a first timer or you've been doing this for a long time, you always want to improve your skills. You always want to provide more fun for everyone at the table, yourself included. So just talk to your players and keep it going.
And also remember that on the other side of the GM screen, they can't see any of your notes. So pretty much your notes are so fluid that they could include what the player think is happening or not. Or, so basically anything is on the table. Do you feel like this monster is a little too weak for this encounter? Give them an extra +2 to hit and damage or whatever. It doesn't even matter. They'll never know. It's not going to diminish their enjoyment of it. So, all the things that you think are, important and concrete, it's just all illusionary. So, as long as everybody had a good time, the encounters are challenging, you're in good stead there as a dungeon master.
I think that pretty much covers it. You guys let us know what your advice to new GMs is down in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on nerdarchy.com.
And while you're there, you can check out the store.
Till next time,
Stay nerdy.